Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm so glad you guys are here. Today we are going to do some more watercolor fun. We tried watercolors straight from the pan. I want to get back to that because I bought some actual watercolor paper. I didn't get like anything crazy good. This was just from a local store. I had a discount. This is only 140-pound paper, but at least it is watercolor paper. So I'm hoping that we get better results with that. And rather than watercolor exactly, I want to try watercolor pencils. I got these for Christmas from some very awesome friends. It's a travel size set so that I could take it with me going to the parks and everything like that, and I haven't made it out yet. Mostly because I don't know how to use them, so let's learn how to use them. So if you're ready, we need black, dark blue, light blue, and a green. We are doing a watercolor pencil tutorial for beginners by SunshineArts on YouTube. So if you want to find that and give that a shot, that's what I'm going to attempt today. I do want to show you, they talked about dividing the paper into thirds just for the composition of the piece. So I've already got mine taped on here, as you can see, for those beautiful edges that we'll get at the end. But if you don't want to mark on your actual paper or canvas or whatever you're using and you tape around the sides, then just remember that you could just mark on that because you're going to pull it away. Yeah, you could put pencil in here, but then you're going to have residual pencil marks, or if you push too hard, an indentation in the paper. So I highly recommend, if you ever need a grid for your work, which is something else you could do, you could just put notches all around the sides of it, which is really great for perspective and just keeping your ratios correct. So I've just marked the tape, and then when I pull it off at the end, it will be perfect. And they won't be there anymore, and there's nothing on my actual working surface that I want to keep pretty. So let's give it a shot. 3, color the section in dark green. Okay. They are just using a sort of scribbly motion. What are you scribbling? Okay. Wait. The darker you make it initially when you're putting this pencil on here, the more color, the more pigment that you're putting on the paper that you're gonna have at the end, as far as I understand. Seeing some thick watercolor marks, especially on this watercolor paper, you can see all the white where like it's just very, because it's so textured. So I would have to like really dig in there if I wanted to fill in all those things, but I think that's where the water comes into play. You want to be careful not to go too crazy with your black in whatever medium you're using, because true black isn't really a color that we see in nature, and while it is definitely a great color, I love black, obviously I'm wearing it right now, but it's a very strong color. So where you put it, that is where black is gonna go. Okay, we're getting ready to add water to this, which is where we make the watercolor magic happen. I'm just gonna zoom in for you. This is where we're at. Let's make it awesome. Okay, so you've seen that. We have our round brush. We're gonna add some water to it. He is actually taped off the bottom third just to protect this. So I'm going to take some clear tape and do the same. You may want to test your paper before just throwing tape on it, because I've done that before and then pulled my tape away and the paper ripped. Very sad day. Don't do that. And I can just line it up with my lines that were already there. I'm just very lightly pressing because I just want it kind of as a barrier, but I don't want it to really stick to the paper. Don't go down there. You'll notice, so that I'm not getting any marks in the middle, if I just kind of stop, I'll get a mark. So I'm actually going over the edges. There's a little more pigmented than mine. May not have added enough, but that's okay. We're learning. I think next time I'll probably color it in a little bit harder. We could also be working on 2 different types of paper, which will cause that. So that's enough for the top. We're kind of letting that dry, and at the same time, oh, we're gonna add stars. It is a night sky. Okay, I I need white paint. Probably show it better if my background was a little bit darker. I'm not gonna make it darker though, because right now I can't until it dries. If I wanted to, I would let the paper dry and then I would color back over it. And that's because with the pencils, you really don't want to ruin the lead on them, and I don't want to ruin my paper. If I go ahead and take my pencils back to this wet paper, all I'm gonna do is most likely tear the paper. So an option would be, and I know some artists really disapprove of this, I could take, here, we'll darken it up actually just a little bit. I could take my brush and I could take my pencil and just a little bit of water just on the tip of it, and you could use it like watercolor and kind of darken it back up. I really like getting my pencils wet. Not that I really know how to use these, but in a previous attempt, not guided by somebody else that knows what they're doing, I definitely got them wet and that ruined the pencil. So don't stick your pencil in. I really am tempted to get like a white ink. They're much more pigmented, and when you see people doing stars and they flick them on at the end, that's usually what that is something that's highly pigmented and is really meant for that, meant to work with water. That's what we got right now though. I'm not going to fixate on it, and I'm not really going to bother to go back and fix it. Why? Because this is a practice piece, and that's why when you saw me have that giant pad, and that's what I recommend doing anytime you buy nicer materials or like a very specific material, go ahead and section it out. I just cut that up into 4 squares. It was a 12 by 12, so then I have a 6 by 6, 4 different squares that I can use and just play with. There's no point in me pulling out that entire sheet and trying to cover the whole thing. That's so daunting. One, it's my first time. It's probably not gonna look that great, but I wanted to go ahead and do it on a material that I knew I should be using, because that's how you get the results that you wanna get, especially when you're watching these tutorials. Pay attention to the stuff that they're using, the types, whether or not they're using a specific paper or a specific type of paint. You know, you don't want to go into a watercolor tutorial and just try to use acrylic paint. I used it for the stars there, but as you can see, it's not as pigmented necessarily as it should be. You can do anything you really want in art. That's why art is so much fun. But if you want to get a specific thing that somebody's doing, do it that way the first time. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing it later. It's the whole, rules are meant to be broken, right? But before you can really correctly break a rule, and I know that sounds weird to correctly break a rule, but before you can get the results of breaking the rule, that's the way I want to put that, then you have to learn it first. So there's no point in watching a tutorial and just doing it your own way anyway, and then being like, well, I didn't get the results I wanted. Yeah, you didn't do what they did. Take the time, try to do it their way first, explore by all means. That's so much fun in art. That's basically the point of art, is to, you know, eventually do it your way. You gotta learn it the right way first. So let's continue. I waited for this to be dry. This is now completely dry. We're gonna draw on some mountains. Just very, you know, it's, to remind myself where my tape is, it's right there. Just very, very loose. I'm using either the flat side, so this is just me getting color in. That's a good way to quickly add color to an area. When you're using just, this is what I do when I do colored pencils, which I don't do a whole lot. I also don't have any training in that, so maybe we'll do a colored pencil video here at some point. But, so by doing the flat edge, I'm just getting the top, but if I use the point, that's where I can get into all those little creases. We've got our mountains, which is super awesome. I've got, did you take off your tape? You did, they took it off when I wasn't looking. Okay, so we put in our mountains, we got a nice hard line because we left the tape there. Go ahead and we're going to peel that off. Oops. See? That is exactly what you don't want to happen, but I'm gonna let you see it. That happened. Okay. You see? Because I just reached for the closest tape I didn't use. Oh well. We're not gonna pout. Because what was I just saying? This is a practice. That's why I didn't really bother to go back and fix the sky. All we're gonna do is go back in. I think there was a little bit of green in here. I'm gonna add a little more green back up in here. So I'm gonna let you watch this up close. Okay. Here's where we take our round brush and we're gonna go the opposite direction this time. And we're just gonna go downwards. Ooh. I'm just wiping off my rag anytime my brush gets dirty. Don't want it dirty. Oh, and I do want to add water to my mountains, but I don't want to brush all that black down. And I don't know if you can see it, I'll pull it up closer, but right here, I can tell exactly where my paper ripped, but it's actually creating some really cool feathering effects right at the edges, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love. So I might explore that a little bit more at a different point in time, and it'll be amazing. Ooh, idea! I have something even better than white paint. Wait right there. We have our glitter. Oh yeah. Ooh. That's a fair amount of glitter. Cross your fingers with me that we get those pretty edges that are so nice when you peel back paint, and that it's not gonna tear the paper. This is what we got. I actually kinda like it. It's fun. I put the glitter on there and then I also sealed it with a gloss just so that the glitter wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, it's already all over my floor, so we are well past that. But at least this picture won't make glitter go everywhere. Super recommend this tutorial. I love that this was actually a beginner tutorial. You should be able to easily do this. I think you'll have a lot of fun. I didn't really have any issues other than tearing my paper, but like I said, if you look right there, like it creates kind of a really cool tear effect. So maybe after I get a little more comfortable with the medium, I'm gonna do something with that and we can really have fun with that, right? Because that's the fun part of art, is learn to do it first. Don't be down on yourself, give yourself time, do it exactly how somebody else is doing it. You don't have to be crazy unique yet. We're all striving. I mean, we all want to be seen, I think, especially in the art world, and you're like, I have to do it correctly right now, right this instant, and do it my way so that people can see it. Because this, let's be real, like, it's very generic, but it's pretty and there's a reason people like it. And, you know, if you, especially if you're somebody like me and you just want to be able to see a result. You know, I was terrible at practicing the piano as a kid because I didn't want to play the keys over and over and over and over and over and over again. I wanted to see something. I wanted to actually have something that I felt like I was working towards. So at least with this could be a lot of fun. You could practice your gradients with this in different colors and just see what you can get all up through, you know, the middle with reflections and everything. And it gives you a little piece that you can hang up and be like, oh, that's a picture. But also it was me practicing fading and colors and just simple silhouettes and line shapes. So don't underestimate the simple things and practicing them till you get them right so you can do it exactly the way you want to do it. You unique little cookie you. So I hope you'll join me next time. Bye.